You know who Miranda Devine is. We talk to her as often as we possibly can right here on I'm Right. She's one of my favorites, been a fantastic columnist for quite some time. She started a podcast, and I don't even know. Half of me is mad at her. She got Donald Trump as her first episode. Donald Trump, to interview Donald Trump for her first episode. How does that even happen? Joining me now, host, I'm going to have to get used to introducing her this way, host of Pod Force One, Miranda Devine. Miranda, please tell me you didn't just shoot him a text or something. How'd you score that?
Thanks so much, Jesse. Look, I can't really lay claim myself to landing the big fish. That was my editor-in-chief, Keith Poole from the New York Post, who organised that. In fact, I mean, it's his idea to do the podcast, and Podforce One was he made that up. Which I think is an absolutely inspired title. Donald Trump was keen to do it. So he did. It was very kind of him to do it. And he's going to, he's promised that he'll come on regularly. We hope once a month, but whatever his schedule can manage. And so hence the name Podforce One is sort of built around the main person, which is Donald Trump. And then we'll have, we've got Scott Bessent is going to be the next guest, the Treasury Secretary, and J.D. Vance, the Vice President, is also there, and Monica Crowley, of course, is wonderful, Pam Bondi, Tulsi Gabbard, Tom Homan, all of them have agreed, Howard Lutnick, all of them have agreed to come on. So I think it'll be a pretty interesting kind of series coming up.
Yeah, I think you're probably doing pretty well for yourself. All right, let's focus on some things that you discussed with Mr. President, as in China and the trade deal. Here it was.
China's always very tough to deal with. They're a little spoiled from having such great success against our negotiators.
Yes.
But we have some things that are going on. I got along great with President Xi, always have. And we'll see if we can make a deal with China. But we're making deals with others. We just made a big deal with the UK, as you know, and we have others coming down the road. And if we don't make deals, we just send them what the price to do business in the United States is, which frankly is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
I like doing that better than making a deal. Making a deal with a country is always very tough politically. Just telling the country what they have to pay is very easy. You send a letter with 2 or 3 paragraphs and you say, this is what you have to pay to do business in the United States. And they're going to pay it.
Miranda, where is this China deal? Every day we hear we have a deal. Looks like we have the framework of a deal. We got a deal. Oh, we don't have a deal. We're going to have a recession. It's a disaster. What do we have?
Well, it was interesting that Donald Trump said about China that he thinks that they got a little spoiled under Joe Biden with the negotiators that they had there. And he has sent his best in Scott Bessent and Howard Lutnick and Jamieson Greer, the trade envoy. And I think, basically Bessent and Lutnick are 2 self-made billionaires. They know how business works. And the Chinese want to do business, and their economy is not doing very well. They're suffering from the tariffs, from an export slowdown. Their factories have slowed down. They need to do a deal. And I think what happened just in London on Monday and Tuesday with those 3 US negotiators was not so much a deal, but the beginning, like the end, a truce. Basically, things had gotten pretty willing between China and America. China had put on these pretty vicious bans on some these magnets and some rare earths that are crucial to America. I mean, it's a wake-up call for us that practically every motor needs these magnets, and that has implications for not just automobile manufacture, but also national security. So, and then we hit back. I mean, this was a pretty mean arsenal of weapons that was dragged out by the Trump administration against China. It was everything from stopping aircraft parts from getting to them. So now they've got 250 planes are grounded, and they were getting grounded at the rate of 250 a week. And also, I mean, Marco Rubio's there saying we're not going to take Chinese students. And there was, we blocked a sort of a petrochemical called ethane, which is a crucial component eventually to make plastic. And of course, you know that a lot of stuff that comes out of China is plastic, so that hurt them too. So all in all, I think both sides were inflicting damage on the other side. And President Trump had a call with President Xi last week, and they agreed to have these sort of hastily pulled together trade negotiations on Monday and Tuesday on a neutral territory, which was London, which Keir Starmer put together for them because he's now, best friends status, having pulled off the first trade deal and probably the best trade deal for England, because Donald Trump has this theory that the first deal, you always get the best outcome for yourself, and you get a little less good as you wait. So Keir Starmer organised that, and I think really what they managed to do was say, okay, give us the magnets, we'll take off our pain points that we've put on you, our retaliatory measures, and then they'll go back to square one, which was, I think, what they sort of organised in Geneva, which was that Donald Trump sort of took off a few of the tariffs and they continue trading and, make money together.
Miranda, do you get the sense that the goal of this is to get a deal and to make money? Hey, it works for you, works for me. Or is the goal to reshore American manufacturing? Because those are not the same goal.
Yeah, I think it's sort of a three-part goal. Scott Bessent is sort of the Trump whisperer when it comes to the market. And he gave a speech a little while ago in New York, and he mapped out very clearly that Trump loves tariffs for different reasons. And you just outlined two of them, making money, bringing back manufacturing to this country, making money from the tariffs, which he thinks is a big money spinner, and also engineering more trade for ourselves, and by sort of forcing companies countries to import more American goods, and not have these non-tariff barriers against, say, our agriculture and so on, pretending that it's like GMO problems so that they won't take American beef or American grain. So all of that, opening up markets, making money from the tariffs, and, I think Donald Trump thinks that it's just a magic cure-all for all trade woes, but at the heart of it, he's kind of a free trader. I mean, he just wants people to make as much money as possible, and he wants to screw the best deal possible for America. And he's the art of the deal guy, and I think that's good for America.
Another thing you and him talked about was something that hopefully is not on everyone's minds in the coming weeks: Iran. When we hear that military dependents are leaving Iran, when we hear warnings to the embassy, well, here you two were. Here it was.
Do you think you're going to be able to stop Iran from enriching its?
I don't know. I did think so, and I'm getting more and more less confident about it. They seem to be delaying, and I think that's a shame. But I'm less confident now than I would have been a couple of months ago. Maybe they don't want to make a deal. What can I say? And maybe they do.
So what does that mean?
There's nothing final.
What happens then?
Well, if they don't make a deal, they're not going to have a nuclear weapon.
Right.
If they do make a deal, they're not going to have a nuclear weapon too. But they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. So it's not going to matter from that standpoint. But it would be nicer to do it without warfare, without people dying.
Miranda, I understand he's the president and he can't and shouldn't lay out all of his plans in front of all of us, not even on Pod Force One, but you get the sense that he's ready to go to war?
I'm not sure it's go to war, but it's, I guess, Israel needs American assistance to bomb the smithereens out of Iran's nuclear facilities. And, in the form of, I understand, aircraft to carry these big bombs, for instance. So in that sense, America would be involved. But I mean, it's not like America hasn't been involved in Ukraine behind the scenes, training up people and giving weapons. So, it's just a matter of Donald Trump. He wants to try and balance his desire for peace and to stop the killing against also a strong deterrent. And, nobody in the world except Iran wants them to have nuclear weapons capability. And this is something that the Biden administration just completely screwed up. And when Donald Trump left, Iran was broke, totally on its knees, didn't have the money to fund its proxies in Israel and around the world. October 7, for instance, was funded behind the scenes by Iran. And things were as they should have been. And the Biden administration unleashed a whole lot of money to them, and the oil flowed, and now they're flush with cash and dangerous. So Donald Trump's got to go back to square one again. And Scott Bessent has said that the aim of the administration is to make Iran broke again, which is obviously annoying the mullahs. But Donald Trump is, he wants peace. And he tries to play nicely with these guys. But as he showed in his first term, when he knocked off Soleimani, tackled ISIS, and so on, he is willing to do the hard, tough things. And America does have the #1 military in the world, and it's perfectly capable of inflicting real damage to other countries. And that is the deterrent. And as he says, Iran cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. And Israel doesn't want that, but neither does Saudi Arabia, neither does Qatar, Syria, Jordan. None of the other countries in the Middle East want that either. And Donald Trump just went and had that big trip to the Middle East, and you can bet that the back talk, the behind the scenes talk, was the same. We don't want Iran to have nuclear capability. So it's not as if he's going out on his own. He's trying to give Iran as much room to move as possible. He said to them, I want to have a good relationship with you. I want you to prosper. We will trade with you. We will help you prosper. But, if the mullahs are just hell-bent on getting a nuclear bomb, it's not safe for any of us. We do not want Iran to have nuclear capabilities.
Miranda, Pod Force One. Everybody should go download it. Appreciate you very much. Come back soon. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.